Okay. There was someone who was supposed to be here, but it's not here. But to trigger it, I think I need to go back to the police station or the sort of police yard. Yeah, it's a sort of pun on Scotland Yard. I'm enjoying the game so far. Already been told there is two things. One, no, not here, not here, not here. Here. I've been told there is a bug that avoids tree. I don't think it's the bug per se. I think that you need to speak with everybody about everything in order to trigger events.
Hello again. Hello.
So this time I'm going to...
How's work treating you then? Not so bad, Luton. I've been busy though, rushed off my feet. Yeah, I can tell.
So this time we're going... Wait. Okay, I have to...
Do you know anything about a man named Mundy? Never heard of him. Have you learned anything about the Milka? Yeah, not as such, no. You go to great lengths to conceal how little work you do, don't you? Hey. What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
Yeah, I don't think it's a bug either.
Never heard of him.
I think it's... I don't think it's a bug.
I don't suppose you've investigated the passengers on the Milka, have you? Of course I have.
I think this is what I forgot to ask him.
Sorry, but you're not the most, diligent of investigators.
At least...
I work as hard as any man of my rank. You're the only man of your rank.
Yeah... Could be. I was afraid...
There's 3
on
dwarfs,
screen?
2 troll, a woman and a zombie with the same rank as you, but you're the only human male. I know you're human because you carry a bit of paper to prove it, signed by the midwife.
Okay.
The maleness, I'll take that on trust. Do you want me to help you or not? What have you got? Well, I interviewed one of the passengers. What did you learn? That's official watch business. You didn't learn anything, did you? Not as such, no. Any chance I could interview this passenger? I don't see why not. She's down in the Cafe Ankh now.
Yes! This is what I needed.
Well, that's something, I guess.
I'm gonna ask the rest.
Has there been a dwarf around asking questions? I don't know. I don't suppose you know a troll named Malachite. Not Mount Malachite. Describe him. Big, tall, stupid, not very talkative. That's the one. He went down for theft years ago. I seem to remember he had an accomplice. An accomplice? Yeah. He denied it, but we all thought he was working with someone. I don't reckon he was the brains of the outfit. What happened? He escaped. Not that far as I know, he's on the lam. Why? You've seen him? No. Just interested.
I'm gonna ask him
Have you heard of a singer called Therma? Never heard of her. Do you know a dwarf by the name of Al-Khali? Never heard of him. How did you know he was male, then? You can't trick me. Everyone knows dwarves don't use the female pronoun. Okay. Mind you, I've always wondered what a female pronoun was. One of nature's wonderful mysteries, Nobby. Is it normally kept covered or what? I'm going to leave it to your rather uninventive imagination, Nobby.
Yeah, there are people nowadays that still don't know what pronouns are.
Any word on these murders? Nothing yet. But our top investigators are working on the case 24 hours a day. Nobby? Yeah? Are you one of those crack investigators? Yeah? Why? Never mind. Just a thought. I don't suppose you know... Not just big tops. Not that he went nice. Anna, yeah, he did. I what? He part what? No, just. Have you ever heard of a troll by the name of Madame Lodestone? Madame Lodestone? Oh, there's a name I've not heard in quite a while. You know her then? Well, no, but I've heard of her. She died in some sort of construction mishap. A mishap, Nobby. Whatever. Anyway, if memory serves, they put her body in the Salachi Mausoleum. Don't know how she ended up in such an exclusive establishment, but that's how I heard it. That doesn't sound very likely. You did ask.
I already have it on the map, but thanks.
You wouldn't happen to know your way around the Salachi family mausoleum by any chance? Give me a break, Luton. I don't know everything.
Yep.
Catch you later, Nobby.
This is what I forgot to do. Yeah. Now we have to go back to the cafe and meet this woman. Just gonna save just in case. Yeah, you kind of have to trigger. It's a bit trigger sensitive. The game is, but it makes sense. You have to find people.
You can't recall if the whiskey knocked you flat, or if I thought I told you never to when you met her. Ilsa. I thought I would never see her again.
Of all the
I prayed that I'd never see her again. But either the gods didn't listen, or they were having a laugh at my expense. Knowing the gods of the Discworld, I had a pretty good idea which. Play it again, Sam. You know what? No one's ever going to believe you said that. Hello, Ilsa. How long's it been?
of all the games of all the Discworld games in the world, she had walked right into mine.
Too long.
That's funny. I was thinking that it wasn't long enough.
Aren't you pleased to see me?
Sure, like a jellyfish praying for the tide to come in.
What's that supposed to mean?
If I always knew what I meant, I'd be a genius.
Back then, you always knew what to say.
I still know what to say. I just choose not to.
You're getting a big kick out of making me feel cheap, aren't you? Well, maybe I had it coming.
Hey, don't take my side. You'll take all the fun out of it. I spent years rehearsing what I'd say if I saw you again. What I'd ask you. I tried to imagine what you'd say.
But now I'm here. You can't think of anything to say?
Now you're here, and I just want to slap you.
Whoa.
Just once. Across the cheek.
What will that prove?
That I still haven't forgiven you.
You're not making this easy, Luton.
Did you think I would? Did you think I'd just come bouncing up to you like a trained puppy? Maybe I'd wag my tail and wait for you to throw me a stick. Well, I'm never going to be another woman's dog for as long as I live.
That's cruel.
Not as cruel as the day you left me. What made you ask for that song?
I was feeling sentimental.
It's good to know that you still remember me.
How could I forget?
I don't know. But you managed to leave. I figured you'd probably manage to forget as well.
Never.
I tried to forget you. I tried to forget the day you left. I tried to forget the good times. I tried to drown your memory in cheap whiskey.
And did you forget?
I don't remember.
I still remember you. That's what the song means to me. It's everything that's good about our time together.
You got lucky, Elsa. You got all the good memories, and I got all the bad.
It didn't have to be like that.
It's always like that. I suppose you have some explanation for what you did. Some pat excuse that'll make everything all right.
There's no excuse for what I did.
At least we agree on one thing.
Why do you hate me so much?
Because I had everything when I had you. And when you left, you took everything with you. It's easy to hate someone who took it all away from you.
It hurts to hear you talk like this.
Good.
From the beginning?
Have you met a man named Monday?
Yes. There was a man named Monday on the ship we came in on. He kept himself to himself mostly.
What can you tell me about him?
He seemed nervous.
Anything else?
I remember him going down to the cargo hold at one point. He looked really shifty, as if he was hiding something.
Is that it?
That's all I can think of.
So, you came in on the Milka, did you?
Yes.
Alone?
No. I came with a companion.
It figures.
What?
Women like you are never alone.
I've been alone.
You know nothing about loneliness. You know nothing about what it's like to not know why you've been abandoned. You don't know what it's like to watch your career slip away because the one thing you care about has been taken from you. You don't know what it's like to spend years going into restaurants and asking for a table for one.
You don't eat in restaurants.
Okay, but if I did, that's what I'd ask for.
Why did you ask about the Milka?
You came aboard in Ecclepon, right? With a man.
Yes. His name's Two Conkers. How did you know?
It's my job to know.
You're being paid to find out where people board ships?
No, I'm a private investigator.
What? Yeah, we already know the mysterious strangers are. Okay.
Ilsa had told me she was traveling with a man named Two Conkers. For now, that was all I needed to know. What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
I've not met them. Sorry.
Them? Okay.
Has there been a dwarf around asking questions?
I'm sorry, Luton. I don't know anything about that.
Do you know a troll by the name of Malachite?
I've not met them. Sorry.
Oh, it's a recorded response. Okay, it's a general response.
Do you know anyone named Therma?
I've not met them. Sorry.
What do you know about a dwarf named Alkali?
I've not met them. Sorry.
Ilsa had told me. For now, that was all. Tell me one thing, Ilsa. Are you involved in these murders?
What?
The murders. They started when you arrived in town.
I can't believe that you would think such a thing. That's terrible. I mean, I know I've done some bad things, but I've never killed anyone in all my life.
Just checking. Have you heard of a singer named Madame Lodestone?
I've not met them. Sorry.
You wouldn't happen to know your way around the Salaci family mausoleum by any chance?
I'm sorry, Luton. I don't know anything about that.
Can you read this?
Yes. It says Pier 5.
What language?
Agatean.
How do you know an obscure language like that?
Actually, Tukonkis is from the counterweight continent. I learned it from him.
I thought that people weren't allowed to leave the Agatean Empire.
Oh, things have freed up these days.
I'd be careful who you tell about two conquers, Ilsa.
Why?
People can be funny about foreigners. And there's always been rumors about the Empire. They say they use powerful magic there. The last time one of them arrived here, the city got burned down.
Tukonkis isn't going to burn the city down.
You know that, and I know that. But the average man on the street doesn't know that. They see the unknown as a threat.
Why? Tukonkis is harmless. No one's that stupid.
Let me let you in on a little-known secret.
People are stupid.
You know how stupid the average person is?
Oh.
I think so, yes.
Well, statistically, half of them are even dumber than that.
That's a joke. That's a famous joke. Pier 5. Just out of
I
curiosity.
found this on the Milka. Does it mean anything to you?
A piece of cardboard with a number on it?
I think it might have something to do with Monday.
If you've constructed murder and a giant conspiracy out of that, I'm going to be very impressed.
Not yet, but I'm working on it.
She didn't say no.
Don't go far. I might want to shout at you again.
I'm sorry, Luton.
Not sorry enough.
Ooh. Okay, we got a new location. See, this is what like I said, Lucho, you're right. I also don't think it's a bug. You have to talk to people. They have to tell them the next clue. Go talk to X person in Y place, like for example, and it triggers that event. Tier 5.
The watchman had a look of mad dedication about him. It was the kind of look that could only be achieved by someone whose job was so mind-numbingly tedious that their only pleasure came from being blisteringly unhelpful to everyone who came along. The doors led into the warehouse itself, but the watchman wasn't about to let me in. I couldn't tell what the crates contained, and frankly, I didn't much care.
Can I talk with Watchman?
I take it you're the watchman for this warehouse.
Wow, you're sharp. People never work that out. I mean, there are so many reasons that I might want to be out here on a pier in the middle of nowhere, but you went straight to the fact that I'm a watchman. Well done.
That's a real talent you've got there. It usually takes me much longer to take a dislike for someone. Let me guess. Not only are you the watchman for this warehouse, but you are so bored that anyone who comes along is a target for abuse.
You're good. I'll give you that. Sharp as a pancake. What brings you here?
Research. I'm on an investigation.
You with the watch?
No. I work alone.
So you're a criminal.
This is Ankh-Morpork.
Everybody's a criminal.
We're all guilty of something.
I'm not. Pure as the driven snow.
Oh, yeah? Well, you've just directly violated the patrician's laws about groundless metaphor.
What?
Well, can you prove to me that you're as pure as snow?
Yeah, the thing about the patrician. If you
Ah, but that wasn't a metaphor. That was a simile.
Because, of course, the patrician is going to be swayed by a pedantic defense like that.
I guess you have a point.
When I gave Mundy's description to the watchman, he became animated. Well, not that animated, but more animated than he had been.
That's the one. He tried to break into the warehouse the other night.
You're sure?
Or maybe I just like stringing you along for fun.
What happened?
I scared him off. I'd like to know where he is now, though. It doesn't look good to have people get away with breaking into a place like this. Bad for our reputation.
Oh, I'm sure. Because everyone respects you, and this would just put a total stop to all those dinner party invitations.
Oi, watch it.
Heard of the Milka?
Sure. Put it in my coffee,
It's a ship.
Yeah, I know. Just winding you up.
Well, I'm already about as tightly wound as I'm going to get. Unless you were planning to use me as an alarm clock, I'd start thinking about being cooperative.
Where's the fun in that?
The Milka?
Oh, yeah. All I can tell you is that they unloaded their cargo here.
What was their cargo?
Oh, I couldn't tell you that. That'd be violating Watchman cargo confidentiality.
There's no such thing.
Oh, all right. I just don't want to tell you then. Satisfied?
Ecstatic. What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
Sorry, I don't get to socialise much with this job. It's the night work, you know.
Has there been a dwarf around asking questions?
That's nothing to do with me.
Do you know a troll by the name of Malachite?
Sorry, I don't get to socialise. It's the night.
Do you know anyone named Therma?
Sorry, it's...
I gave the watchman Al Kali's description. He didn't recognize it. Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man named Two Conkers?
Sorry, it's...
Now, at least we know that Monday.
Do you know anything about the recent murders in Ankh-Morpork?
That's nothing to do with me.
Fair enough.
Have you heard of a singer named Madame Lodestone?
Sorry, it's...
You wouldn't happen to know your way around the Salaci family mausoleum by any chance?
That's...
Have you seen any labels like this before?
Oh, sure.
Where?
On crates.
I have this inescapable feeling that I could try and get some useful information out of you about this, but that it wouldn't be worth the time and effort I'd have to spend on the way.
I'd go with that feeling if I were you.
Does this mean anything to you?
That's nothing to do with me.
I have a feeling I'll see you later.
I can't wait.
If it wasn't for the watchman, I could probably get in through the doors. As it was, I needed another plan. The River Ankh. Probably the only river in the universe on which you could chalk the outline of a corpse.
Nope. I think I should just trigger another event. Or talking to Ilsa.
I couldn't carry the crates even if I wanted to.
It worked once.
I was never going to get anywhere if I didn't learn to resist the urge to use the crowbar at every available opportunity.
Okay, fine. Okay, save. Here. I think I have to go back to the office. Something should... something.
The note had been pushed under my door by Carlotta.
Luton, I am anxious to see you again and to find out how the case is going. Come to the von Uberwald mansion on Moon Pond Lane. Carlotta von Uberwald.
So, Carlotta was a member of the von Uberwalds, one of the richest and most reclusive families in Ankh-Morpork. That explained why she could afford to offer to pay me so much. It didn't explain why she hadn't got around to paying me yet, but I could wait, at least until the rent was due.
Okay, another place we got. We can continue. Until I get stuck, I won't look at the walkthrough. Bingo.
I already had a bad feeling about the Mundy case. But learning that my employer was a von Uberwald didn't fill me with confidence. I didn't know the facts about the von Uberwalds, but the rumors were bad enough.
May I help you, sir?
You could let me in for a start.
Very good, sir.
And don't call me sir.
As you wish, sir. May I take your coat and hat, sir?
Thanks, but no. I feel naked without them.
That must make it difficult to clean them.
Was that a joke?
I never joke, sir. It's not my job. I may lie, dissemble or deceive, but I never joke.
Look, I don't want you to take my coat, okay?
But of course, sir. Sir is welcome to drip all over the immaculate hardwood floor that I spent several hours polishing this morning, because Sir is a guest, and Sir is entitled to do whatever Sir wishes.
Nice house.
Sir's taste in architecture must be quite exquisite to so accurately summarize the many splendid cornices and archaic stained-glass frescoes of this splendid Lorenzian building as nice.
You have a gift for making people feel welcome, don't you?
One is blessed.
Do you know anything about a man named Mundy?
Regrettably, sir, I know nothing about that person.
Do you know anything about the Milka?
I'm sorry. I cannot assist, sir, in that matter.
Yeah, this is the part where it's kind of... Yeah, you have to interview, you have to ask everybody about everything. Everything for a clue.
So what do you make of Carlotta, then?
Sir?
Carlotta.
Madame Huberwald.
Carlotta von Uberwald. She does live here, doesn't she?
Indeed, sir. Sir is as dogged in his pursuit of the truth as he is determined to warp the incalculably valuable hardwood floor by his persistent dripping.
You're not going to give up on this hardwood floor thing, are you?
As ever, sir is both astute and incredibly stubborn.
What about Carlotta?
She is also quite astute and most definitely stubborn.
What do you think about her, then?
I am not paid to form opinions, sir, merely to perform menial actions such as guarding the hardwood floor, a task I am, alas, failing in at the current time.
Will you shut up about the hardwood floor?
As Sir wishes. I will no longer mention how Sir is irrevocably damaging timber felled by the hand of the 77th Earl of Ankh. Boards that have lain here for longer than Sir has been alive, and that were first laid before Sir's father was even a glint in the eye of his grandfather, whomsoever that may have been.
Oh, man.
Has there been a dwarf around asking questions?
Why Sir insists on believing that I know everything that goes on in this house is beyond my comprehension.
Do you know a troll by the name of Malachite?
Regrettably, sir, I know nothing about that person.
Do you know anyone named Therma?
Regrettably, sir, I know nothing about that person.
What do you know about a dwarf named Alkali?
Regrettably, sir, I know nothing about that person.
Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man named Two Conkers?
I'm sorry. I cannot assist, sir, in that matter.
Okay.
Do you know anything about the recent murders in Ankh-Morpork?
I don't know anything about any murders, sir.
Have you heard of a singer named Madame Lodestone?
Regrettably, sir, I know nothing about that person.
You wouldn't happen to know your way around the Salaci family mausoleum by any chance?
Sir has many questions, but alas, I have few answers.
I have an invitation from Carlotta.
Ah, Sir is as quick to reach the point of Sir's visit as a tortoise with a war wound is in crossing a very large desert. I will fetch Mistress Carlotta for Sir, provided Sir would be so kind as to wait here and not to touch the valuable and irreplaceable furniture that adorns the room Sir is currently dripping on.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay, the animation is a bit wonky.
The large wooden doors led back out into the cold and rain. I wasn't that anxious to use them. The painting bore a striking resemblance to Carlotta.
The Duchess Charlotte von Uberwald, née Leopoldine. My predecessor, in a sense.
Oh? Are you a duchess?
No. But the resemblance is impressive, isn't it? My husband was struck by it from the moment I met him.
Where is your husband?
Dear Ulrich passed away during a civil uprising in Uberwald several years ago. Quite a terrible business, actually. Peasants, pitchforks, burning torches, the usual sort of thing.
Ah, the good old times.
Usual?
For Uberwald, certainly. Their ways may seem barbaric, but it's just the way things have always been done. If there wasn't a civil uprising every few years, I do believe the nobility would be most disappointed. Dying at the hands of a mob in a burning castle is practically traditional.
That's an old tradition we should think about bringing back.
Tradition important to you, is it?
Ever the investigator, eh, Luton? Even your employer isn't beyond suspicion.
My old boss used to say that everyone was guilty of something.
And what are you guilty of?
Too many things, sweetie, but nothing you need to know about. So what's the story with you and Ulrich?
Do you believe in love at first sight, Luton?
It saves a lot of time, certainly.
Ulrich fell for me the moment we met. I guess seeing that painting every day probably helped.
Don't sell yourself short. You have a few assets of your own. I'm sure it was an equitable transaction.
You think I married him for his money?
Did you?
Let me tell you something, Luton. I've been rich and I've been poor. Rich is better.
Did you love him?
Does it matter?
It matters to me.
Maybe I did. I guess it depends on what love is.
Love is a moment of weakness that allows someone to hurt you more than you ever thought possible. Men were given the strength to be brutes to women, and women were given love to wreak their revenge.
Oh, it's almost poetic.
Who was she, Luton?
Who?
The one who left you with such a high opinion of women. She must have been quite a gal.
You wanted to know how the case was going.
A girl's got to have hobbies.
I think I'm getting somewhere.
We're all getting somewhere, Luton. The question is, am I going to like where you're going?
I guess we'll just have to find that out the old-fashioned way.
That's me, an old-fashioned girl.
Like the girl in the picture.
The Duchess? She was quite a trendsetter in her era. She wore her dress so high, you could almost see her ankles.
My heart is pounding at the thought. I don't have much to tell you about the case, I'm afraid.
You still haven't found Mundi?
Not yet. I might do a better job if I had more money at my disposal.
Ah, yes, of course. You haven't been paid yet.
Well, it had crossed my mind.
I'm sure I could sort something out.
I didn't doubt that she could. The question was, would she? And more to the point, when would she? What can you tell me about the Duchess?
The Duchess Charlotte von Uberwald.
Charlotte? Carlotta? Huh.
Born Charlotte Ameliorati Victoire Tangerine Leopoldine, she married the Duke when she was 13, which was the style at the time. She was considered a risque dilettante by most of the nobility of Uberwald, and rumors abounded that she caused the heart attack that killed the Marquis of Grand Mal when she showed him her naked knees. Her corset was said to be so tight that her first pregnancy went into extra time. and her first and only son had learned his first word by the time he was born.
Not so tight.
You're pretty good on this family history business, then.
Yeah, for someone who was supposedly married to the family.
I dabble.
Tell me again about Monday.
What's to tell? I've told you all you need to know.
Do you know anything about the Milka?
Let's try not to get too sidetracked, Luton.
I wasn't about to ask Carlotta about herself. Has there been a dwarf around asking questions?
Let's try not to get too...
Do you know a big, dumb troll called Malachite?
I thought all trolls were big and dumb.
This one pushes new boundaries. Do you know him or not?
No, I don't.
Do you know anyone named Therma?
Sorry, Luton. I've never heard of them.
Have you heard of a dwarf who goes by the name of Al-Khali?
No, I haven't.
Never mind. It was a long shot. Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man named Two Conkers?
Be careful, Luton. I don't appreciate people wasting my time.
That's not a no.
You wouldn't have anything to do with the recent murders.
Why, Mr. Luton, you must think the worst of me.
I think the worst of everyone. That's my job.
Do you think Mundy could have been murdered?
Anyone could be murdered, but speculation is cheap.
And you're not?
I'm not cheap. I'm a bargain.
Good answer. Term days.
Have you heard of a singer named Madame Lodestone?
Sorry, Luton. I've never heard of them.
I need your help.
I'm not hard to get, Luton. All you have to do is ask.
I need your knowledge. I need to find a particular tomb in the Salaci Mausoleum, but I don't know enough about genealogy. You do.
The Salaci Mausoleum? That could be trouble.
Don't worry. I'm not going to mess with the tombs. I know better than to offend a family whose ties with the Assassin's Guild go back to its very foundation. I just want to see if someone's buried there.
Who's the stiff?
A troll named Therma.
A dead troll? You don't get much stiffer than that, I suppose.
Will you help me or not?
Of course, although I'm not really properly dressed for a mausoleum. You don't mind waiting while I get changed?
It's not like Therma's going anywhere.
If Sarah is not too busy, the master of the house wishes a word with you.
And if I am too busy?
The master of the house still wishes a word with you, and I shall be forced to beg.
That sounds like it could be fun.
Did I say beg, sir? I meant resort to violence.
In which case, lead the way.
Mr. Luton, as I understand it, my daughter-in-law has retained you to investigate a certain matter for her.
That's correct.
Then I take it you will be a frequent visitor to my house.
Hopefully not.
It seems likely.
Probably, but oh.
Do you know who I am?
I know that they call you the Count.
Do you know why they call me the Count? Because I am a Count. Count Henning von Überwald.
It's not the Dracula. That's not one of the vampires from the second game, is it?
One of the Blints von Überwalds, I ought to add, because frankly, Überwald had an uncountable number of counts. And I'm trapped in Ankh-Morpork at the moment because my current infirmity prohibits me from leaving this room.
That doesn't explain why you wanted to see me.
I wish to know what my daughter-in-law has you investigating.
That's between me and her.
No, Mr. Luton. I rather suspect it isn't. You see, Carlotta's hands are not on the von Uberwald purse strings, but mine are.
So you're saying I won't get paid unless I tell you what I'm doing?
No, I'm implying that. Whether or not you actually get paid is a different issue.
What's it to you?
I get very bored. I'm interested as to what goes on around me.
All right. I'm tracking someone for her.
Someone who is missing?
That's right. A man named Mundy.
Oh, I see. Very well. If you keep me informed on the progress of the case periodically, I will ensure that you receive payment.
You said you have to stay in the conservatory. Why?
I'm not a well man, Mr. Luton. It is hard to say how long I have for this world, or indeed if the next world will take me.
What's so special about the conservatory?
Ankh-Morpork is too hot and humid for my tastes. I had the conservatory built especially. It's colder than the rest of the house. I keep it at the temperature I feel most comfortable with.
Why so cold?
You ask too many questions.
I'm an investigator. It's my job.
Well, be thankful that I find your impertinence charming, or else I might be forced to teach you a lesson.
In your condition?
You would be surprised at just what I can do in my condition, Mr. Luton.
So if I keep you informed on how the Mundy case is going, you'll ensure that I get paid?
As much as it is in my power to do so, yes.
And what if I mention this to Carlotta? Maybe she's got the money from other sources and doesn't need the family money.
A possibility. Very well. I'll offer to pay you irrespective of whether Carlotta pays you herself.
That seems a little unethical. I'd be betraying the trust of a client.
I'll pay you twice your usual fees.
Well, what do you know? Suddenly I've resolved all my ethical dilemmas.
Ethics are a salve for the poor, Luton.
Yeah,
I am the poor.
yeah.
You sound as if you are proud of the fact.
The poor are often prouder than the rich. They know that what they have can't be taken away.
Why would anyone want to take their poverty away?
I didn't say the poor were smart. I said they were proud. So the von Uberwalds are wealthy, then?
Not compared to some, but we have more than enough to look after our own.
Is Carlotta one of your own?
When she married into us, she became a part of us.
You sound like you don't approve.
My opinions of Carlotta are not the issue. Traditions and ties of blood are stronger than opinions.
But there is no tie of blood between you and Carlotta. She married into the clan.
Mr. Luton, there are ties of blood between all the von Uberwalds. In Uberwald, blood is very important.
Okay.
What can you tell me about Mundy?
I'm afraid I can tell you nothing, but I would be interested in what you have to say about Mundy.
Carlotta says he's an ex-lover and she suspects him of cheating on her.
And you believed her?
Whether I believe her or not is immaterial. Do you know anything about the Milka?
I'm sorry, but I don't get out of the conservatory much.
Tell me about Carlotta.
I find it impertinent that you should ask questions so boldly of me.
You'll live.
It is fortunate that I find your manner amusing.
I guess this must be my lucky day.
Very well. Carlotta became a member of the family by marrying my son Ulrich, who is no longer with us.
I'm sorry.
Yes, he returned to Uberwald several years ago.
Oh. I'm sorry. I thought he was dead.
Oh, he is. And, alas, Carlotta is now part of my family, and I have a duty to protect her.
Why do you dislike her so much?
It is not something you should trouble yourself with.
Has there been a dwarf around asking questions?
I'm sorry, but I don't...
Do you know a big, dumb troll who goes by the name of Malachite?
Malachite. There's a name I have not heard in many years. Yes, I know of him.
How?
As it happens, he broke into this mansion several years ago and stole several valuable heirlooms that were never recovered. Incredibly, the City Watch was able to catch him before the Thieves Guild did, and he was imprisoned.
For some reason, I decided not to tell the Count that Malachite had escaped. I had a feeling the troll could still be useful to me. Maybe as a rockery one day. Do you know anyone named Therma?
These days, the only people I know are those who come to the mansion.
What do you know about a dwarf named Alkali?
These days...
Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man named Two Conkers?
These days...
Do you know anything about the recent murders?
There are always murders in Uberwald. I don't see why these should be any different.
I was talking about the murders here in Ankh-Morpork.
Mr. Luton, I couldn't be less interested in the petty crimes of this wretched city.
Have you heard of a singer named Madame Lodestone?
These days, the only...
Do you know the Salaci Mausoleum at all?
I'm aware of it. The Selaci family and the von Uberwalds do occasionally mix in polite society.
By polite society, you mean high society.
Well, certainly out of your reach.
Is there any chance you could show me around it?
Mr. Luton, there is little chance that I will leave this room for you or anyone else, let alone travel halfway across town to give you a guided tour of a mausoleum. Also, I confess, it would bring back happy memories of when I was dating.
You took your dates to a mausoleum?
Sometimes. Sometimes my dates lived in mausoleums.
You dated the dead?
No, the undead. They can be terrible bores sometimes, but most vampires are terribly well bred.
Huh.
So you're a count?
I am the Count, yes.
What's it like?
It's fine. Although one does get the occasional burning desire to tear out the throat of people who ask too many questions. Do I have to draw you a picture?
Depends, can you draw? Nah, I'm going. I'm not gonna show it.
I'll be back later.
I look forward to it.
Now let's get this straight. We're looking for a troll named Therma.
As far as I know, yes, but she may be in here under the name Madame Lodestone.
Okay, then we can rule out the Fornix Sanguis Ceruleus.
What? Does there have to be one?
The Blue Blood Vault. We can probably eliminate the heroic decapitated war veterans vault and the thoroughbred pet vault. Do you know what relation this troll had to the Selaci family? She wouldn't be buried here if she wasn't.
Well, your guess is as good as mine. It took Carlotta a while to work it out, but we eventually found a Madame Lodestone in the Fornix Famulus, the servitor's vault. Guess she used to keep the floors real clean or something.
Here we are. Madame Lodestone.
There's an inscription. Madame Lodestone, singer and retainer of Lord Robert Selaci, taken from us when her house collapsed, returning her to the rubble from whence she came. Not much of an epitaph. Still, it's more than I expect mine will say. I'll probably end up with whatever's written on the cement bag round my feet. Carlotta? Carlotta? She disappeared without even a word. I couldn't work that woman out. Still, she'd found me the tomb, which left me trying to decide whether or not to tell Malachite. There's an Madame... A heavy stone slab covered the tomb of Madame Lodestone, and presumably Therma's body was inside. I tried to move the slab, but it was far too heavy.
Well, nothing. Yeah. So, let's tell Malachite, right? Workshop. Okay.
Hello again, Malachite. No, don't say anything. I know how you'd love to talk, but I'd hate for you to wear out that beautiful voice of yours. So how you been keeping, Malachite? Okay, I guess you don't want to talk about that. This where you're staying at the moment? I guess you're not going to talk about that either. Heard any good jokes recently? How many trawls does it take to change a lamp wick? Want me to give you a clue? Have you heard of Count von Uberwald?
Find Therma!
Yeah, I know. But it'd help me to know if you've heard of the Count...
Find Therma. No talk about von Oberwald. Find Therma.
Okay. You're the boss. Even if you're not paying me. I can be such a sucker sometimes. I always help guys who could twist my head off and use it as a bowling ball. Well, I think I found Therma's body. It's in the Selaci mausoleum.
Need to see body. Take me there.
Okay. Nice to see someone dealing with the grieving process at high speed. Cut straight to the acceptance. It saves a lot of time, doesn't it? I don't know why I bother sometimes. Not as if he's listening to me. Maybe it'd help if I hit him with something, like maybe a really heavy building.
Need to see body.
Of course you do. Here's the tomb.
Need to see body.
Hey, it's going to be pretty ugly in there. I mean, she was crushed under a house. That'd mess up even a troll.
Need to see body.
Malachite pushed the slab off the tomb like he was opening a jam jar. Inside was some rubble that I assumed was Therma's body. Frankly, there wasn't much to go on. Trolls are rocks, and that's the whole story.
Not Therma. Keep looking.
Are you crazy? How could you tell?
Not Therma. Keep looking.
I was beginning to wonder if Malachite was mad. If he was, I could at least make use of it. Okay, I've got no soul. I must be a heel.
I must be a heel.
All right, I'll keep looking. But I've got a problem. There's this building I need to get into, but I can't do it. I need a grappling iron. A grappling iron like the one you have. Look, I need to borrow your grappling iron. Do you understand?
Give you hook. You find Therma.
That's the deal. I couldn't help but wonder what it meant if that rubble wasn't Therma. Had Sapphire lied to me? I wouldn't be surprised. Frankly, I was more surprised by people telling me the truth than telling lies. Lies flow like water, but the truth burns. That's not a bad line. I better write that down. Malachite gave me the grapple and left the mausoleum without another word.
Where was a grapple? Okay, that is kind of how did you know he had a grapple?
The rubble was definitely the body of a troll. But according to Malachite, it wasn't Therma's body.
But now I can go inside the... No. Okay. Right. Okay. Skylight. Oh, this is new.
The skylight sat on the roof, an inviting alternative entrance. The skylight sat on the roof. The skylight was locked tight.
Okay, this is a bit dark.
I damaged the skylight slightly when I forced it open with the crowbar. Gee, how would I sleep at night?
Ah, I should have saved. Okay, why is it so dark?
Breaking into the warehouse was easier than I thought, but then I was a natural pessimist. Living in Ankh-Morpork did that to a man. What little light there was in the warehouse was coming through the skylight, and shadows played on the walls as I searched for something to help the case. I didn't know what I was looking for, but I was desperate enough that anything would do. The warehouse was full of crates. I wasn't surprised. That's what the warehouse was for, after all. None of the crates seemed to be of much interest, though. It looked like a matchbook. Even my paranoid mind couldn't come up with a reason not to pick it up. The torn matchbook fitted precisely to the scrap of cardboard I'd found on the Milka. The reconstructed matchbook clearly read 9 Whalebone Lane. I suppose I could tear it up again, but I was pretty pleased with the jigsaw as it was.
No, I don't think there's anything else here. If there was...
I'm back, so I can see. This seems like a nice place. No, it doesn't. It seems like it's tough. You could have that on a... You being a parrot. You look a little... I can't shake the... I gave Mencken Mundy's description and asked if he'd seen him. He told me that he hadn't. Maybe I could trust him. A half-elf doesn't need to make any more enemies. Have you seen Sapphire? She's not here. She went off to see someone. Who? Who do I look like? A keeper? Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man named Two Conkers? I know a lot of people. That doesn't mean I want to talk about them with you. Do you know anything about Count von Uberwald? I know a lot of people. That doesn't mean I want to talk about them with you.
Mhm.
Do you know what this is? It's a matchbook. Any reason it might have the address of the parrot written on the back? None that has anything to do with me. I knew he was hiding something. The question was, how could I get it out of him? I'm against unnecessary violence. Besides, these skinny types can be tougher than they look. So you don't know Monday? I've already told you that I don't. And this matchbook means nothing to you. Do you practice to become this irritating? Well, I'm confused. You see, this is Monday's handwriting on the matchbook, and this is your address he wrote. Shall I tell you what I think? I don't think I have that much choice. I think Monday is here, but he told you not to tell anyone that he's here. You're just making it up as you go along. Well, I could always go and fetch the watch. I heard they were looking for Monday too, and if he's not here, you wouldn't have to worry about being charged with hiding a known fugitive. They can get so impatient. Monday's not a fugitive. How would you know? You little... All right, you win. He's upstairs. But don't tell him I told you. I wouldn't dream of ruining your reputation in high society. I'd gone to a lot of trouble to find Monday, and now the goal was in reach. It seemed like an anticlimax. I couldn't quite see what Monday was doing when I entered his room, and seconds later I couldn't see anything at all. The last thing I saw as I passed out of consciousness was the floor rushing up to meet me.
Oh, Act 2 already. Great.
By the time I came around, the watch had arrived. I must have been unconscious for hours, maybe days. I thought no one could feel as bad as I did, until I saw Monday. His feet were bound and his eyes had been gouged out. Either he died of massive blood loss, or he'd spilt an awful lot of red wine. It wasn't going to be a good day, I decided.
Going somewhere, Luton? You don't leave until we've finished with you.
You know where my office is. If you want an interview, you can find me there.
I consider you to be the prime suspect in this investigation.
You've got to be kidding.
I've never been more serious.
Never? What do you want with me? I was unconscious throughout the whole incident.
We only have your word for that. You could have killed Monday and then knocked yourself unconscious.
With what? Your wedding. You're pretty serious then. What?
Yes, Nobby. Now shut up.
Will you explain what you think I did?
You came in, mutilated Monday, and then knocked yourself unconscious.
Is that all? There's your promotion, too. You were really serious then.
Nobby, you've made your point, thank you. Shut up.
How did I knock myself unconscious?
I don't know yet. But you're not a complete fool, Luton. You'd have found a way.
Do you have any evidence against me, or is this just part of your ongoing campaign of victimization? It's just, you're always kind of serious.
You were present at the time of the murder. Your rope was used in the murder.
My rope? The murderer steals from me, and suddenly I'm guilty of murder? It's not a bad thing. I mean, you're the commander of the watch, and that's a serious job.
Then there's the victim's message.
Azil? How does that incriminate me?
It ends in L-E. He could have been trying to write Luton. He could have died before he could finish.
He could have been trying to write Lemon. And what is Azzy supposed to mean? I was only trying to help.
For all we know, Azzy might mean it was in Mundy's own language.
For all we know, Azil might mean, help, someone has gouged my eyes out. You're just guessing. There must be other suspects.
The landlord says no one went upstairs after you.
It could be the landlord for all you know.
Mankin? He's not the type. Anyway, he reported the incident to us.
Listen, you've got nothing on me, and unless you're going to arrest me, I'm going to leave.
I'm keeping an eye on you, Luton. Consider yourself a suspect for all the counterweight killings. If you're in any way involved, I'll find out. Don't leave town, Luton.
He's really got it in for me, hasn't he? He's not a bad person, Luton. He's just a bit... psychotic? Obsessed? Judgmental? I was going to say overworked, but I've changed my mind. What's this about counterweight killings? Well, and this is in the strictest confidence. I won't tell anyone who doesn't talk to me. The murders have all been a bit, well, odd, redualistic. What? They are involved with a revival of philosophical principles concerning the division of reality into two independent forces, mind and matter? No. Redualistic. Like what cults do. Reduals. Ritualistic. I see. Like someone was trying to make a point. Yeah. One of the Patrician's clerks was killed the other day. Very suspicious. Why the counterweight killings? I'd better not discuss that. Gotta go. See you later, Luton. A lot later will do.
Just gonna leave me here with the...
Mundy's corpse wasn't very attractive. I wasn't looking forward to telling Carlotta how Mundy died.
Just gonna leave me with the body here, alone? Okay.
There was nothing on Mundy's body worth taking. Someone, either the killer or Mundy, had written Azil on the wall in blood.
Azil or Eliza? Eliza.
Mundy's blood, presumably. I had no idea what it meant.
I think he meant Eliza backwards.
It seemed to be a cheap copy of Spinner's Rain, Cream and Speed. I could tell it was art, because I couldn't make out what it was supposed to be. I couldn't think of a good reason to steal the painting, even though it would have looked great on my office wall. The bed looked neither comfortable nor inviting. It hardly seemed worth searching the bed. The watch had already searched it, and frankly, it was a pretty nasty bed.
No, that ain't.
How does it feel to be a suspect, Mankin? What? You're an obvious choice of suspect because you called the watch. You were the first on the scene.
Actually...
Around here, that means it's practically a closed case. I don't see why. You were there when I got there. I was unconscious. Well, I heard a commotion. That's what made me check it out in the first place. Maybe Mundy managed to knock you out before he died. While he was tied and blind. Perhaps he said a particularly offensive word and I fainted. Well, I happen to know that the Watch consider you a suspect. Well, don't forget that I know something that they don't. That you're a liar and you can't be trusted. Just because you can't trust me doesn't mean no one can trust me. So how do you think having a murder in one of your rooms is going to affect business? Pull in the goth crowd, do you think? Shut up, Luton. I don't feel like engaging in small talk. Not with you, anyway. So why did you kill Mundy? What? I didn't lay a finger on him. You gotta be crazy. Do you have any idea how bad all this is for business? Why would I cause all this? I'd have to be crazy. Vimes told me that you're a suspect. Of course I'm a suspect. I'm half elf. We're always a suspect. No one trusts us. Does the word Azil mean anything to you? Leave me alone, Luton. Have you heard of the counterweight killings? You mean, have I heard that there's an unstoppable assassin from the counterweight continent in Ankh-Morpork, and he's slaying everyone and everything that gets in his way? If you like, haven't heard a thing. That's all for now. Always a pleasure.
Nope, nothing here. Okay.
I see Sir has returned.
Sir has.
Who would Sir like to see?
Is Carlotta home?
Alas, no. What a shame that Sir's trip has been wasted. Perhaps Sir would like to leave now.
Tell her I called by.
Why, my loins stir at the very thought of serving you in this way, sir.
Is the Count receiving guests?
No, but he will see you.
Ah, Luton, I was hoping you would drop by.
You don't sound so good, Count.
I am not the man I used to be, that is certain. Past my prime, you might say. Yes, past my prime.
I could come back later if you want.
No. No, there is no guarantee that I will be getting any better. If anything, I might be worse.
Your health?
We are both men of the world, Mr. Luton. I will not mince words with you. I am dying. I might last another year or so, or I might not last the week. And to think I thought Ankh-Morpork would be good for my health.
Not too many people would believe you, certainly.
Let us dispense with the pleasantries and get straight to business. Yes? Yes. Straight to business.
Do you know anything about the murder of a man named Mundy?
Mr. Luton, I couldn't be less.
Does the word asile mean anything to you?
Yes. Yes, I remember Azil. Azil. The mad Ascari of the Great Nef. He rose to power before even the light dams of Sorka were completed. I remember he used to punish his detractors by burying them upside down in the sand. Do you know, I think he honestly believed they might grow into trees. He was quite mad, you know. Quite mad.
How long ago was this?
Oh, I don't know. A couple of 100 years ago, at least.
You seem to remember it like yesterday.
I am an old man. My memory plays tricks.
Do you know anything about the counterweight killings?
Mr. Luton, I couldn't be less interested in the petty crime.
I'll be back later.
I look forward to it.
The painting bore a striking resemblance to Carlotta.
I think I missed something.
Mundy's corpse wasn't very attractive. I wasn't looking... Mundy's killer had tied his legs together with my rope. It was bad enough that he stole my rope without implicating me in a gruesome murder at the same time. Nothing. There should have been something in the boots, only there wasn't. I was pretty sure that the watch didn't search them, and that didn't leave many options. Someone, either the killer or Mundy. Mundy's blood, presumably. I had no idea what it meant.
Oh, I missed this
Looking
one.
closely at the frayed rope hanging from the rafters, I knew that Mundy had been tied up by the legs and then hung from the ceiling. I didn't know why. Frankly, I wondered if I really wanted to know why. Something very strange was going on. I didn't want to tamper with the evidence. Besides, there wasn't enough rope there to do me any good. Come to persecute me some more, Luton? A man's got to have a hobby. I found some frayed rope in the rafters of the room where Mundy was killed. Congratulations. What's that got to do with me? I was hoping you could tell me. You're optimistic. Not at all. I figure you'd like me to stop asking you questions. It wouldn't be my first wish, but it'd be in my top 10. Tell me about the rope. Why don't you tell me about the rope? You found it, not me. Mencken wasn't going to risk incriminating himself under any circumstances. Once again, I'd have to worm it out of him. So why did... What? I didn't... You got... Do you have any... Why would I... Vimes told me that... Of course, I'm... But all... No one... I need to speak with Sapphire. Try and imagine how much I care. Look, is she here or... She's in... That's all for now. Always a pleasure.
Wait a minute, let me...
Someone had tied Mundy up and gouged his eyes out. Whoever they were, I doubted they were anyone I wanted to be friends with. There was some frayed rope in the rafters of Mundy's room. I hadn't completely fathomed its relevance.
Oh.
So why did you... What? I didn't let... You got... Do you have any... Why would... I got... Vimes... Of course, I'm... But no one...
Oh, interesting.
The frayed rope in the rafters was the same as the rope around Mundy's legs. The rope that used to be tied to the grapple. That had to mean that Mundy was hung upside down and then killed. And that meant someone cut him down after he was killed. Curiouser and curiouser.
Wait a minute, that means I was right. That's not Achille, that's Eliza. Can I do that?
I'd learnt that Mundy had been hung upside down by his legs before he was killed. They say that the universe is full of particles called inspirations. One of them hit me at that moment because I suddenly realized something that should have been obvious. If Mundy was hung upside down, and if Mundy wrote the message, then the message was upside down.
Yes.
Turning it around in my head, I could see that it read 3712V. It wasn't a meaningless word after all. It was a meaningless combination of letters and numbers instead. Somehow that seemed much, much worse. Come to persecute me. A man's got...
37112V.
I've been thinking hard about Mundy's death, and there's something that doesn't add up. Oh, enthrall me with your erudite wisdom, great one. When Mundy was killed, he was hanging from the ceiling, but when the watch turned up, he was on the ground. Maybe the killer cut him down when he was dead. I don't think so. I think that message was written by Mundy, and I don't think the killer saw him write it. Which means someone must have cut him down. Somebody who was in that room cut Mundy down. I don't think it was the killer, and I know it wasn't me. What are you getting at? You cut him down, didn't you? Why should I tell you? I've already told you, I don't think the killer would have cut him down. Which means if you cut him down, you're in the clear. All right, yeah, so I cut him down. Happy now? Why? Not everything has a reason, Luton. But people can usually find reasons for what they do. Well, draw your own conclusions. I was missing something, but I couldn't see what. You cut down Mundy so you could search him, didn't you? What are you suggesting? Nothing worse than the truth. You're a liar and a thief. All right, Luton. What is it you want? What have I got to do to get you to leave? Just give me what you found in Mundy's boot, and I'll leave you alone. Here. You want it? Have it. It's worthless anyway. What is it? How the hell should I know? Now, I kept my end of the bargain. You keep yours. Leave me alone. We'll see, Mencken. I figure I owe you at least one lie. Get out, Luton. In my own time, Mencken had given me a small coin, but it wasn't any type of coin I recognized. I guess I should be grateful to the half-elf for keeping the clue away from the watch. But frankly, I just didn't like the little weasel. What did you find out about Mundy's coin? It's bad enough that you've stolen it from me without me sharing everything I learnt with you. You didn't learn anything, did you? That's not strictly true. You learnt it wasn't worth anything. If it had been, do you think I'd have given it to you?
Yeah, it's got a point there.
That's all for now. Always a pleasure.
Okay.
The only time I saw Mundy, he was playing with this coin. A metallic flat disc with a square hole in the center. The coin had markings on one side that I couldn't read. It wasn't from any nation I'd ever heard of.
Okay. The plot thickens. And the old man was lying. He was an asile. We know that the Count was lying. The Count was lying.
It's really impolite to walk into a room without knocking. But who knows what you miss out on when you take the time to knock. Sapphire had a pile of money in her room, and I was glad I hadn't given her an opportunity to hide it.
Luton, you startled me. Didn't Mother tell you not to walk into rooms unannounced?
Mother told me to walk into rooms with a crossbow. She was a sensible woman.
What you want?
That's quite a lot of money you've got.
What? Oh, yeah. Money. Yeah.
Where'd you get it, Sapphire?
Oh, that. Well, see, I won it.
Won it?
Yes, at casino.
Which one?
Saturnalia. Sapphire go there often.
Really? Is it a good casino?
Oh, yeah. Good as casino get. You should go, Luton.
Maybe I will. So, how have things been?
Things way they always been. Slow. Dull.
But you've kept yourself amused, haven't you?
Don't know what you mean.
Thanks for telling me where to find Malachite.
Can't a girl help out friends?
Am I your friend?
We see, honey. We see. Everyone needs friends.
Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man named Two Conkers?
You must think I know whole town.
How does it feel to be working underneath where Mundy was horrifically murdered?
People die, honey. It happens.
Do you know anything about Mundy's death?
Sapphire know that you prime suspect.
Word travels fast, doesn't it?
Small town, Luton.
It's not so small. Anyway, gossip spreads faster the more people there are to hear it. It's funny that way. Does 3712V mean anything to you?
You ask too many questions.
You heard of the counterweight killings?
Yeah?
What do you know about them?
Sapphire know they called counterweight killing. Sapphire know people killed. That all Sapphire know.
You lied to me, Sapphire. Strung me along with that Madame Lodestone story.
What? No. Sapphire told truth.
The trawl in Madame Lodestone's grave wasn't Therma.
How you tell?
Malachite told me.
You trust him?
He's too stupid to lie. And you're too smart not to.
Sapphire not smart. Big dumb troll, like all the other trolls.
Don't play games, Sapphire. I know you're smarter than the average troll, although I could say the same about some mushrooms.
Look, Sapphire don't know why someone would switch bodies. Sapphire just trying to help.
She was lying to me. I could feel it. She was obviously hiding something, but it was apparent I needed to know more if I was going to worm it out of her. Do you know anything about Count von Uberwald?
Wouldn't know anything about that.
So, you won this money at the races.
No, not at races. At casino.
Oh, yeah, that's right. At the casino. I'll be back.
That's what they all say.
Saturnalia was almost legendary. The upmarket casino was situated on the King's Way and was frequented by the rich members of Ankh's high society and hopeful social climbers from Morpork. It was a temple to pride, greed, and avarice. And like any temple, anyone with money was welcome. The last person I wanted to see was Death himself, waiting to take me to whatever hell awaits a failure like me. But after Death, Ilsa was a close second. My eyes were drawn to her the moment I entered the room, and I decided then and there that I wasn't going to talk to her. The next thing I remember, I was talking to her.
Hello, Luton. Still mad at me?
As soon as I learn how to offer forgiveness, you'll be the first one to receive it.
This is my companion. Two conkers.
Pleased to be meeting you. You are Remora Salachi. Not the last time I checked.
This is Luton. He's an old friend of mine.
Why did he think I was Remora Salachi?
We're supposed to be meeting him here.
What do you want with an assassin like Remora?
What are you talking about?
I looked around to see Remora drawing a weapon. Assassins are damn good at what they do, but they're not allowed to kill innocent bystanders. I didn't know if it was bravery or stupidity, but I decided to stand between Remora and his target. Why did you try to kill that woman?
Why does any assassin try to kill someone?
Who put a contract out on Ilsa?
Don't you know better than to interfere in official guild business?
Why would anyone want to kill Ilsa?
Do you expect me to discuss a confidential case with you?
What do you want from me, Remora?
A swift death and a cheap funeral.
Ha! You lose. That wasn't a question, that was a statement. You're getting sloppy.
You're lucky we're only allowed to kill for money, because I'd take you out for free, Luton.
I'd managed to embarrass Remora in front of a crowd of social notables, and that was bad news. It was bad enough that I had the watch breathing down my neck without the Assassin's Guild baying for my blood. Fortunately, there was nothing they could do to me unless someone paid for a contract on me. Actually, that wasn't strictly true. They could tie me up and torture me for days if they wanted to, just as long as I didn't die. It wasn't a comforting thought.
Who was the woman?
Carlotta, what are you doing here?
I like to take risks. Isn't that what life is for?
I've taken enough risks to last a lifetime.
You didn't answer my question, you know. Who was the woman?
Ilsa, why do you want to know? Jealous? Afraid you might have a rival?
All women are rivals, Luton.
She's not important.
I see. If you decide to be honest with me, I'll be around.
It was the most unsettled I'd seen Carlotta get. I guess there was a heart in that cold chest after all. A roulette table sat in one corner of the casino, but it didn't keep my attention. The game Whirl was croupier for used a Carrack deck, the distilled wisdom of the ancients painted onto cards. The croupier at the truncheon table was a man named Whirl. Whirl didn't give anything away for free. Carlotta didn't strike me as the gambling kind, but then with her look she could probably gamble with other people's money. Personally, I thought that took the edge out of the experience, but I doubt she cared. The woman's name is Ilsa. She and I used to be close.
See?
It's over.
Why are you telling me this?
I thought you might want to know.
How is the case going?
Badly. Mundy's dead.
Dead?
Yeah. Dead. Murdered. And not a pretty sight. I'm sorry.
Don't be. I'll survive. You could have chosen a nicer way to tell me.
I thought you might appreciate me getting straight to the point. Do you want me to stay on the case?
Is there still a case?
I thought perhaps you might like to know who killed Mundy and why.
Yes. I owe him that. You can continue with the case, Luton.
I've got things to do. I'll see you around, Carlotta. Still here?
Here's as good as anywhere.
Good. What's that?
Do you want to know what happened with Monday?
That's what I'm paying you for, isn't it?
Is it? I'm starting to wonder.
Don't you like me, Luton?
What's not to like? You're a woman like any other.
Do you look down on all women, or just the ones you know?
I have plenty of distaste to go around. Does Azil mean anything to you?
Azil? Wasn't he a madman from the Great Neff? Some kind of religious maniac?
Go on.
That's it. That's all I can remember.
The person who killed Mundy hung him upside down and poked his eyes out. Can you think of any reason they might have done that?
What? No. Why should I?
Well, you knew Mundy. I didn't. I thought you might have an insight on it that I didn't. Did you kill Mundy?
What? What do you think I am, Luton?
It's got nothing to do with what I think of you, Carlotta. But the Watch are investigating, and if they find out about your connection with Mundy, you're bound to be a suspect.
So why are you asking me if I did it?
Let's just call it professional curiosity.
If I had done it, would you turn me in?
That depends.
On what?
On why you did it.
You don't strike me as a moralist, Luton.
I'm a simple man, Carlotta. I have simple ideas of what's right and what's wrong. The trouble is, things are seldom that simple. It's always somewhere in the middle ground.
Deep. Deep.
I try not to jump to conclusions. In my line of work, that can get you killed.
That must be a tremendous incentive to think everything through.
I do my best. You still haven't answered my question.
I didn't kill him, Luton, if that's what you really want to know.
Do you have an alibi? I told her when the murder took place and asked her if she had an alibi. I wasn't surprised when she did. Frankly, I reckon I could have said any day and any time, and she'd have had an alibi. She was that kind of woman.
Was it supposed to be an inner thought?
There are witnesses who can corroborate where I was.
And where were you?
I was in the Temple of Small Gods.
Spend a lot of time on your knees, do you, sister?
We all need a little absolution.
For your sins?
Everything I do is a sin in someone's eyes.
Does 3712V mean anything to you?
Let's try not to get too...
I wasn't. Do you know
I thought...
this? Do you know?
No,
Have you heard of a...
No.
Never mind. It was a lot. Do you know a woman named...
Be careful.
Have you heard of the counterweight killings?
No.
Mundy's murder looks like a counterweight killing.
Oh, I'm thrilled.
I'm trying to find out why a troll named Sapphire would lie to me. Any thoughts?
Be careful, Luton.
Do you know anything about Count von Uberwald?
Be careful, Luton.
What, you can talk about your own father-in-law?
You don't happen to know how a troll singer might end up with a lot of money by any chance?
Let's try...
Does this coin mean anything to you?
Nothing springs to mind.
It was Mundy's.
It still doesn't mean anything to me.
I've got things to do. I'll see you around, Carlotta. What's the game? Truncheon. Interested, stranger? The name's Luton. What are the stakes? Minimum stake is $1 a hand. House limit is 10,000 per hand. I'm in. Here's my dollar. Hey, big spender. World told me how to play the game. Something to do with the major arcana and the private arcana.
Tarot cards?
The major arcana had strange names like the Fool, the Pyrophant, and the unbelievable expense of a slice of cheese.
Unbelievable expense of the cheese. Yeah, that's typical Pratchett humor.
Essentially, it seems I just had to stay under 21 and get as high as I could.
Oh, so like a blackjack.
It all seems pretty whimsical to me. It's a whimsical world. What happens in a tie? I win. That doesn't seem fair. I'll note that down in the complaints book, shall I? Player thinks the odds might be stacked in favour of the house. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I expected to lose my dollar anyway, so I didn't worry about it. But someone else at the table seemed pretty worked up about what I was doing.
That isn't the way to play it.
Why not?
Because it isn't the way to win.
Is there a way to win?
Well, there's a way to lose more slowly.
What's it to you?
I've seen enough losing. I don't want to see any more.
I only bet $1.
No, it's the principle of the thing.
What do you think? I'm just a croupier. I'm not paid to think. I lost my dollar, but I reckon I got value for money. And hey, the cards were pretty. Do you own this place? Saturnalia? No, you gotta be kidding. Who owns it? I don't really know. Probably a whole group of people. For all I know, no one owns it, and it just keeps ticking over all on its own. Is that likely? Frankly, I don't really care. As long as I get paid, it's all the same to me. Don't you have an inquisitive mind? No. I find people with inquisitive minds don't live too long. I was told that I'd find a certain troll's body in the Salachi Mausoleum. Only when I got there, it wasn't the right body. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you? You went rooting around in the Salachi family mausoleum. Hey, leave me out of this, Luton. Do you know a troll named Sapphire? Oh, I'm just a simple croupier. I wouldn't know anything important. And if I did, I certainly wouldn't give it away for nothing. I guess you don't like to give away anything for free. When you've worked in a casino as long as I have, you learn that you don't get anything for nothing. Does the word Azil mean anything to you? I'm just a croupier. Can you think of any reason that Mundy might have been hung upside down before he was killed? I'm just a... Does 3712V mean anything to you? I'm just a croup... Do you know Carlotta? Well enough. She's a regular here. Oh, yeah. She likes to come in every once in a while. She usually ends up betting with somebody else's money, and she never loses control. What do you mean? Well, you can win or lose in a single game. That's just the way it is. But sooner or later, people lose control and bet all they have left, and then that's it. For most of them, they don't care. Mostly they're just big shots with more money than sense who like the glamour of Saturnalia. Some of them are hopefuls who can't afford to lose the money they've wagered. But those that are really good at the game, they never lose control. They know just when to play and just when to quit. And Carlotta's one of them. Carlotta is always in control. Do you know a troll by the name of Malachite? I don't think so. What do you know about a dwarf named Alkali? I'm just a croupier. I don't know everything. Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man named Two Conkers? I don't think so. Have you heard of the counterweight killings? Sure, and I only have one thing to say about them. I'll place good money that the patrician's next. Any reason? Just a hunch.
Nah. Patrician next.
Can you think of... I'm just... Do you know anything about Count von Uberwald? That means nothing to me. I had a feeling that Mundy's coin was important, and I wasn't about to show it to just anyone. Time to excuse myself from the table, I think. Warb was the most depressed and jumpy wizard I'd met. Maybe hanging around a casino did that to a man. You seem to get worked up over my gambling.
I'm not as easygoing as I used to be.
You're a wizard?
Wow, you're sharp. What tipped you off?
The nice dress.
The gown? The arcane symbols?
Look, I just thought you might want to talk. You tried to help me at the table, and I thought I'd make amends for being so rude to you. Sorry I tried.
No, wait. I'm like sorry, friend. It's just I'm on the edge.
The name's Luton.
I'm sorry. We haven't been properly introduced. My name is Warb. B-L-L.
B-L-L?
Well, Bachelor of Eldritch Lace Making.
Eldritch lace making?
Don't ask.
You a regular in here, then?
I guess so. I'm not very lucky.
I thought all wizards were lucky.
Whatever gave you that impression? Do you know how many bizarre and unpleasant ways there are for a wizard to die inside the walls of Unseen University alone? One false invocation as you're summoning a demon, and bang! You're lunch for some pit fiend with more tentacles than legs and fewer arms than heads. Or spend too long in the wrong area of the library and poof, you disappear. All that you leave behind is a statistic.
Don't you like being a wizard? It always seemed like a glamorous profession to me.
There's nothing glamorous about wizardry. Well, except for glamours.
Glamours?
It's an elvish thing.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Not that elf. Not Elvis. Not elvish. Not Elvis. Okay.
If you're so unlucky, why do you come here?
Well, thank you very much.
I haven't lived a lucky
Elvis, not
life,
Elvis.
but, well, I don't know. I guess I feel that in here, I at least have a chance.
But the odds are always stacked against you. The house always has the advantage.
Let me tell you something, Luton. The house always has the advantage. Here, out there, it doesn't make any difference. At least in here, you know who the house is.
Alright.
That's a pretty stark outlook.
Ever made a decision that affected your whole life? Ever done something that throws everything into question?
No,
Bullshit. S.
I don't feel in that much control of my life.
BS.
None of us are.
So you work up at Unseen University.
He accepted the bribe when he was a guard.
I was trained there. Once I got my degree, I moved on.
But you're still a wizard. I thought all you guys were under the jurisdiction of the university.
Yeah, I work for Unseen Securities now.
Unseen Securities?
Yeah, we make magical security systems. Very exclusive.
Are they expensive?
Oh, yeah. Hardly anyone can afford our services.
Does the word Azil mean anything to you?
I'm afraid I can't really, help you with that.
Like? No, I would say it was one wizard from the second game. One of the EP wizards. No, I don't think.
Can you think of any reason that Mundy might have been hung upside down before he was killed?
I'm afraid I can't really, help you with that.
Does 3712V mean anything to you?
I'm afraid I can't...
Do you know Carlotta?
No, I guess I don't.
What's that supposed to mean?
Forget it.
Do you know a troll by the name of Malachite?
I don't know them.
What do you know about a dwarf named Alkali?
I don't know them.
Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man named Two Conkers?
I don't know them.
Two Conkers.
Heard of the counterweight killings?
I heard someone in Unseen University got killed by a spy, but I don't really, know anything about it, you know?
Do you know a troll called Sapphire?
I've seen her around, but I don't really know her.
Seen her here?
Oh, yeah. She's sometimes here. She never looks very happy, though.
Do you know anything about Count von Uberwald?
That means nothing to me.
Do you know a troll called Sapphire?
I've seen
her.
Oh, yeah. She never...
I had a feeling that... Maybe I'll see you later.
Well, there's a temple. Let's go visit the temple. Couple of small gods. Even I think presentation is good.
The Temple of Small Gods was Ankh-Morpork's unique concession to all the thousands, perhaps millions, of small gods that the Discworld was home to. Most of the gods were so small they never got worshipped. The spirits of lonely trees, or the places where two ant trails crossed, and they stayed that way because they lacked belief. Give a god belief, one follower or 10,000, and it grows up from the void into whatever fanciful deity its followers devise. Everyone knows that people need gods to blame for everything that is wrong, or praise for everything that is right. But they forget that every god needs people, too. Inside the temple, a bazaar of fanatics, lunatics, and cultists of all descriptions were trying to sell their faith to prospective followers. 2 salvations for the price of 1. Extra indulgences if you get a friend to join. That sort of thing. The lost and the lonely came here seeking direction. I found it hard to picture Carlotta amongst their number. Malaclips drew attention to himself by virtue of the lack of crowds around him. Even the followers of Flatulus had a small crowd, but for some reason no one wanted to talk to him. It looked as if he had a metal fish hung around his neck. Who do you worship, then?
Why do you want to know? Who sent you? What do you want?
My name's Luton. I'm a private investigator.
You've been sent by the elucidated brethren of the Ebon Knight to silence me, haven't you? Their plots are so transparent. It won't work. I have protection.
There isn't an elucidated brethren of the Ebon Knight anymore. They were forcibly disbanded.
Disbanded?
By a dragon, as it happens.
Dragon?
Ah, that's what they want you to think.
Oh, the Brotherhood from the first game.
That was all faked, so that they could eliminate all their traitors and go underground.
You mean the bad guys from the first game?
Even as we speak, they are plotting to control the patrician by putting mind-altering drugs in the palace's water supply.
Then it's true. I'd heard that you were the only other person who really knew what was going on.
What do you want?
I just want to learn from you. Only you can teach me what is really going on in Ankh-Morpork.
You don't fool me.
I don't?
You just want to steal all my knowledge and then use it to further your plans of glory.
Ah, but I know that you know that, and you know that I know that. Which means we're at a stalemate. And since you know more than me, you have the advantage in a stalemate, which means that ultimately you'll beat me.
Yes! Yes! I see. You plan to try and use me, don't you? Well, many have tried to use Malaclips, and I have beaten them all.
No, I can't hide anything from you, can I?
Very well. I will let you, for as long as it serves my purposes to do so. What did you wish to know?
Which deity do you serve?
That's a big question. Which deity do you serve?
I don't serve any deity.
Then I don't serve any deity either.
I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours.
All right. You first.
I serve...
You didn't finish.
I am forbidden by an oath of loyalty never to speak aloud the name of the person of...
The ancient mystic order of... Yes, I know all about you. I know every conspiracy turnwise of the Wormberg, and all but one conspiracy hubwards of the Great Neff.
Your turn.
I am the proud servitor of Errata, the goddess of misunderstandings, the mistress of mayhem, the countess of confusion, and the duchess of discord.
You know, sometimes I think I'm her servitor, too.
You get a free gold-plated apple if you join this week.
Tell me about the goddess Errata.
There is no goddess greater than Errata. Have you not looked at the world and seen all the confusion and misunderstanding? Well, who do you think put it there? It didn't happen by chance. Nothing ever happens by chance.
So, every misunderstanding that has ever happened, Errata was behind them all.
Well, Errata means that.
Yes. She has started wars, and she has ended wars.
And that sounds says man.
Millions have died for the glory of Errata.
And presumably most of them believe they were dying for something else.
Oh, yes. The goddess is shrewd in her ways.
She must be very powerful.
There is no goddess more powerful than Errata.
Then why doesn't she just make everyone into her follower?
I mean, Loki doesn't have a gender, per se.
Let me tell you something, Luton.
I think
Everyone is a follower of Errata.
Loki is the god of lies and mischief. Errata might be chaos personified, which means he's more powerful than Loki.
They just don't know it.
How come you know that you're a follower of Errata?
I only think I'm a follower of Errata. I might be a follower of someone else, and I wouldn't even know it.
Errata thinks of everything, doesn't she? You said you knew all but one conspiracy, Hubwards of the Great Neff. What's the one conspiracy you don't know?
If I knew that, I would know all the conspiracies, wouldn't I?
You don't know anything about that one conspiracy?
Nothing.
Then how do you know that there is another conspiracy?
Because when I put all the other conspiracies together, I can see the pieces missing.
In other words, you can tell there's a conspiracy because you can't see it.
Everything casts a shadow, Luton. At least of some kind.
How do you know his name is Luton? It never told his name.
What if the missing pieces are a ruse by one of the conspiracies you do know about to try and distract you from paying attention to what they're doing?
No. That's too far-fetched.
So is there a formal church of Errata?
I am the formal church of Errata. I hold her sacred emblem.
And what would that be?
The scarlet totem that I wear around my neck.
And how do you go about joining the church?
I told you. Everyone is part of the Church of Errata. They just don't know it.
Tell me about the counterweight killings.
Rumor has it that the Sun Emperor's private assassin is here in Ankh-Morpork, silencing those who have found out about the conspiracy to keep the Agatean Empire out of the secret trade talks at Ecclepon, thus ensuring that the counterweight continent's stature in the world economy is weakened.
I would laugh my ass off if all the conspiracy the guy says are actually true.
Hold on, slow down a minute. Who's the Sun Emperor?
The ruler of the Agatean Empire, of course.
The Agatean Empire? That's on the counterweight continent, is it?
Shh. Not so loud. Don't you know about the patrician's conspiracy to deny the existence of the counterweight continent to the populace? He could have us killed just for talking about it.
But everyone knows that the counterweight continent is real. We had a tourist from there a couple of years ago.
Privately, everyone knows, yes. But publicly, it's still just a legend. And the patrician makes sure it stays that way.
So what you're telling me is that an assassin from a nation that publicly doesn't exist is here killing off certain influential figures.
Exactly!
And all this has to do with a trade meeting at Ecclepon.
Apparently, there may be more to it than that.
Why Ecclepon? That's hundreds of leagues away.
Yes, but Ecclepon is the nearest port to the Akkadian Empire.
Ah, yeah, the tourist. I remember him.
And agents of the Ochre Revolution from the counterweight continent
Yeah, I
are going to
remember
be
him.
at the meeting.
I see.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember the.
What do you know about Sapphire?
That troll is nothing but trouble. She's in with the Breccia, you know, the troll mafia. She ran up huge gambling debts, and now she works for them until she's paid them off.
What do you know about Sapphire?
That she.
Yeah, but she has a lot of money now.
Do you know anything about Count von Uberwald?
Blah.
Is that yes or no?
Do you know Malachite?
They're planning to have him killed.
They? Who are they?
Breccia?
Nobody knows who they are. Only they know who they are. Maybe. I think they're the same ones who are putting poison in the beer.
Why was Mundy hung upside down when he was murdered? And why were his eyes poked out?
His body was offered up as a sacrifice to the creatures of the dungeon.
Yeah, I know.
Dimensions, the fetid
Also, is the one played by in books in the Color of Magic
caused them to get their rituals
by
confused,
Sam.
the city would be crawling
Sam Wise is the actor
right
played by
now.
Sam Wise in the movie in the movie The Color of Magic. I kinda missed that.
Do you know Al Kali?
The dwarf? Yes, he's an associate of Horst's. A minor player in the greater scheme of things, but dangerous nonetheless.
Do you know a woman named Ilsa and a man named Two Conkers?
No.
No? I thought you knew everything.
Not everyone is important in the grand scheme.
Do you know a woman by the name of Carlotta von Uberwald? Have you seen her around the temple?
Oh, yes. I know her. She's part of one of the darkest conspiracies. And they're plotting to take over the world by stealing the lost treasures of Errata and turning them towards a dark purpose. Don't trust her, Luton. Trust no one.
You know about Mundy's murder?
Of course.
Was she here when he was killed?
Yes. Yes, she was.
Do you know a woman? No? I thought...
No.
What does 3712V mean to you?
It's the combination to the phantasmal vault of Capsicum. Even the lowliest neophyte of Errata knows that.
Does the word Azil mean anything to you?
Azil? Yes. He was an Ascari in the Great Neff a couple of centuries ago, involved in the Great Light Dam conspiracy, which culminated in the theft of 12 barrels of light from the sacred distilleries of E, the Lost City.
What is 37...
It's E.
Do you know what this is?
It's a Hersheben groat.
What's a Hersheben groat worth?
Nothing, unless you want to hire a member of the Hashishim, the first assassins.
Assassin, yeah.
The Hashishim?
The original assassins.
Yeah, the word assassin comes from the Turkish assassin with an H.
A band of mad killers who are feared throughout Hubwood Clatch. They derived their name from the huge quantities of hashish they consumed.
That too, yes.
They are unique among killers in being both deadly and, at the same time, inclined to giggle and wear beads. The ones with the flared trousers are the most deadly of all.
And you'd pay one with a Hersheban groat.
But this is like the silver coins from John Wick.
No, but if you give it to one, he'll stare at it for hours and leave you alone.
Okay, I was surprised if
I'll have to go.
if you actually have to do that in a game. I would
The
love.
truth is out there.
The truth is out there.
Trust no one.
Okay. Okay. Ah, bummer.
Religious emblems were scattered throughout the place. The sacred lace of Hyperopia, the goddess of shoes. The holy trolley of Mr. Safeway. The blessed chamber pot of the whinging martyrs of Constipata. Anything could become a sacred relic if you weren't careful enough. Most of the statues were a mystery to me, but I recognized the odd face. There was Zephyrus, the god of slight breezes. And Lamentatio, the goddess of interminable opera. I thought I could see FedEx, messenger of the gods, in one corner.
Okay, we are going to leave the stream here. I'm sorry. We're just gonna have